So picture an NHL hockey rink for a second, right? It stretches exactly 200 feet from end to end. Now, I want you to imagine trying to walk that entire distance. For a lot of us, it's just a quick, easy stroll. But if walking that very specific distance requires you to actually stop and rest, well, that exact physical threshold actually qualifies you for a disabled parking placard in the state of Massachusetts.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to untangle the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles bureaucracy, which I know sounds like a lot of fun. But seriously, if you or a loved one are struggling with mobility, the benefits of a disabled parking placard are literally life-changing. I mean, it's the difference between easily rolling up to a supermarket or doctor's office and having to face this grueling, painful obstacle course just to get inside. Now, getting one does require navigating some highly specific paperwork, so I'm going to give you a really clear, step-by-step navigational guide for conquering this whole process from start to finish. Here is our roadmap for today. Number 1, who qualifies for a placard? 2, the medical certification process. 3, submission, fees, and processing. 4, proper usage and avoiding fines. And finally, number 5, renewals and replacements.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. Who qualifies for a placard? The medical thresholds. So the RMB is looking for severe physiological limitations that directly impact your ability to move around. Just writing down general pain or a standard medical billing code on an application, that's going to get you an automatic denial, for sure. You have to meet specific objective criteria. This includes that 200-foot walking rule we just talked about, or requiring a mobility aid like a cane or a wheelchair. It also covers severe respiratory issues, like needing portable oxygen or having an FEV1 lung capacity under 1 liter. So asthma alone isn't quite going to cut it here. Other qualifiers include Class 3 or 4 cardiac conditions under the American Heart Association, advanced Stage 3 or 4 arthritis, legal blindness, or the loss of use of a limb. And, you can't just diagnose yourself for this. You absolutely need an authorized Massachusetts licensed healthcare professional to certify your condition. This list includes medical doctors, osteopaths, chiropractors, registered nurses and nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and podiatrists. Oh, and it's definitely worth noting that optometrists are on this list too, but their authority is strictly limited to certifying for legal blindness only. All right, moving on to Section 2, the medical certification process. Conquering Form MAB 100. Now, this application is a two-sided document, and it's split into administrative and clinical segments. But don't let it overwhelm you. Just think of it as a giant puzzle in 3 simple steps. Step 1, you, the applicant, fill out sections A, B, and C. Step 2, you literally just hand it over to your doctor or certifying professional, and they take care of sections D and E. And step 3, you mail that original form in. It really is that straightforward. But hey, you really need to pay close attention to Section C. This is the part you have to sign, and by signing this, you're basically doing 2 major things. First, you are swearing under the penalties of perjury that your information is entirely true. Second, you are explicitly authorizing your healthcare provider to release your medical records to the RNV if they ever need to verify your condition. It's a legal document, right? So accuracy here is absolutely paramount. Okay, I want to pause right here for a second because this is a massive landmine where so many applicants just fail. Once your doctor signs and dates that application, a clock immediately starts ticking. You have exactly 30 calendar days to get this application to the RMV. If you leave it sitting on your kitchen counter, and try to submit it on day 31, your application is completely invalid. No way around it. You'll literally have to start the entire medical evaluation process over from scratch. So whatever you do, do not miss this window. Next up, Section 3, Submission, Fees, and Processing. The final mile. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is a fact that pleasantly surprises a lot of people. The physical disability placards, those hanging tags for your rearview mirror, they are 100% free of charge. Yep, 0 state fee for them. Now, if you opt for a permanent disability passenger license plate instead, standard registration fees do apply. That's about $60 for a 2-year passenger plate or $20 annually for a motorcycle. Disabled veteran plates are also free, provided you meet those strict 60% service-connected mobility disability requirements. So where exactly does this free application go? Well, here is our second landmine warning for today. You absolutely must mail the original application directly to the RMV Medical Affairs Bureau at their P.O. Box in Boston. Do not take this to your local RMV service center. Local branches literally do not process these initial applications. Dropping it off there is only going to cause unnecessary delays in an already lengthy process. Just mail it directly to Boston. And speaking of delays, you really need to pack your patience for this part. Once you drop that application in the mail, you've got to allow at least 30 business days for the RMV Medical Affairs Bureau to process and review everything. It is definitely not an overnight system, so planning ahead is crucial here.
All right, let's move to Section 4, proper usage and avoiding fines. With great parking comes great responsibility.
If you apply soon, you might actually notice a change in how the placard itself looks. The RMV has recently phased out their old manual lamination process. These newly redesigned placards are made of a highly durable, unlaminated material. And believe it or not, this cuts the state's production time down by 25%. Even better, these new versions actually feature a solid plastic privacy sleeve that slips right over the placard. This completely conceals your personal photograph and name from public view while your car is parked, which is a really nice update. But listen, whether you have the old laminated version or the new privacy version, the rules remain exactly the same. And the penalties, they are incredibly harsh. If you misuse a disabled parking placard, you're looking at a massive $500 fine for just a first offense. And it doesn't even stop at your wallet. The registrar can also hit you with a 60-day suspension of your driver's license. So the crucial point is this. Disabled parking privileges are issued to the individual, right? Not the vehicle. You cannot just loan your placard to your spouse so they can grab premium parking while running errands without you. If you, the placard holder, are not physically exiting or entering the vehicle at that designated handicap space, the placard absolutely cannot be used. Period.
And that brings us to Section 5, renewals and replacements, keeping your privileges active.
And this brilliantly illustrates two very different administrative paths you might find yourself on here. If your doctor certified you for a temporary placard, it's valid for anywhere from 2 to 24 months. Now, when it's about to expire, you do not get an automatic renewal. You actually have to submit a brand new application complete with a new doctor's signature about 4 to 6 weeks before it expires. On the other hand, if you hold a permanent placard, life is so much easier. It's valid for 5 years, and as long as your photo is up to date in the RMV system, they'll just automatically mail you a new one right before the old one expires. But what happens if you lose your placard or it gets stolen? Thankfully, replacing it is pretty simple and once again, completely free. You just need to submit a written letter to Medical Affairs. Make sure you include your name, date of birth, social security number, and your placard number if you actually know it. But be warned, the moment you request a replacement, your original placard is instantly canceled in the RMV's computer system. This is to prevent fraud, so if you happen to find the old one a week later and try to use it, you could get hit with those severe fines we talked about a minute ago. So let's think back to that NHL hockey rink we started with. Do you or a loved one meet that 200-foot rule? Look, the physical relief and daily independence that a disabled parking placard provides, it really cannot be overstated. Yes, the RMV process requires some strict attention to detail, a visit to your doctor, and careful tracking of that 30-day submission window. But the resulting access is incredibly valuable for your everyday life. If you found this step-by-step explainer helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and most importantly, share this with anyone in your life, a family member, a neighbor, a friend, really anyone who might be struggling with their mobility and could use a clear path through all this RMV paperwork. And finally, just as a quick professional reminder, while this explainer provides a really comprehensive general guide based on official RMV data, state regulations can and do update. Always check the latest official Massachusetts guidelines at mass.gov/RMV, and be sure to consult with your own licensed healthcare professionals to finalize your specific application. Thanks so much for learning with me today.